And we're live. Can everybody see us okay? Hello? Melinda? Anybody? And we're live. Can everybody see us okay? Hello? Hang on a second. That's crazy. Melinda? Anybody? And hang on. We're live. Okay. It's me. It's me. It's okay. You're good. You're good. You're good. Okay. So who thinks we should dock Garrett's pay? Garrett was really late.
Which is, hey, that's not normal for me.
No, he's usually, well, he'll tell me this. I'm going to be here at 6:30. And so you bet about 7:15, something like that. And hey, can Pam watch the girls? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Hey, how's everybody doing? Did you have a good week? Put it in the chat room. Good week, everybody?
Throw it in there.
Huh? Come on. Let's see something. And, what's this say? And on repeat. Oh, wow. Who is that good looking guy? Oh, it's Garrett. Woo! Garrett's got some fans.
Yes.
All right. So I think we were actually going live earlier and we thought we were live and we weren't. So we'll skip the intro, although I know that's Garrett's favorite part.
I love that part.
Anywho, so we are doing today's show on the Delphi murders, which is a very sad case. And Garrett and I was talking before he got here about, this case is going on 4 years. And it's like these guys have video of them. They've got the voice of this guy. And Garrett, nobody's in custody.
Well, here's the weird thing, too, is they have DNA, but they haven't talked about if it's blood or semen. Or
I think it's touched DNA.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little bit about that. I mean, I've heard some rumors. They haven't released anything on this crime. They haven't released how the girls were killed.
They just said it was brutal.
They said it was brutal. I've got some insight on it. Well, I mean, it's all rumor and speculation.
Right.
But I'll share with people anyway. But I'll let you know it's also very speculative about some text messages that were leaked by the uncle.
Okay.
Who supposedly did find the bodies.
Yes. Yep.
And text to somebody the condition they were in. Anyway, so should we tell them about a contest or no? Should we talk about it later?
Later.
We'll talk about it later. Also, though, coming up, the military medium was nice enough to give me a free reading for somebody. So we're going to discuss after the show, Garrett and I, how we're going to give that away for you guys. And
there's going to be a catch.
There is going to be a catch. Yeah, you're going to have to do something for us.
Yeah,
for sure. You got
every great deal. Both people benefit.
You got to work for it, baby. Right. All right. So anybody out there? We've got 5 watchers. Has anybody heard of the Delphi murder? I mean, I never heard anything about this murder until about a year ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I was all in right when it happened.
I didn't. Really?
Yes.
You knew about it?
You knew about it. It was national news.
It was national news, but not for very long, though.
Well, and then Dr. Phil picked it up. Dr. Oz picked it up. Inside Edition was all over it. Nancy Grace obviously had her say.
Yeah, I never watch her. I just can't stand her.
She's crazy.
God, she drives me nuts, man.
But it was kind of like, it was sensational and everything like that, so.
And Dr. Phil, he was on Dr. Phil.
That's my guy.
That's Garrett's guy.
Yeah, I love Dr. Phil. I watched the episode today.
I laughed so hard my headphones fell off. I know people that say Dr. Phil doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
He's brilliant.
Is he?
He really is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Super level-headed.
No, I like him. And
great advice.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the show. Like, I know that he had the show on the Delphi murders, had the family on.
Yeah,
and
I did watch that one.
It's kind of crazy, too, because mom is like, I think of Liberty, is very frustrated. But at the same time, I don't know what they call him in Indiana. It's like the head of the state police. They call him like the superintendent or something like that.
I don't know. I just thought they were called the state police.
They are, but like the chief. This is not called the chief, but he's called something else. But he's so involved in this. They actually have 2 detectives that are.
What's his name, Garrett?
I can't remember.
Come on, Garrett.
Come on, man. Why are you doing that?
I don't know either.
Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me?
No, I don't know either. I see him all the time, and he's a gray-haired gentleman.
He is. So, he's intense, and he's. But they've got 2 detectives that are still working on this thing every day, full time.
Yeah. Yeah, they're, I don't know, man.
So that's where, well, my point was that, like, she's frustrated, but at the same time, she's grateful that they're staying relevant and that they're, they have to solve this case.
Yeah, man, they've got to.
He said
there's some big blunders on this case too.
Well, there are. Yeah, like one of the things she was frustrated about is like that they called off the search that night at midnight because it was too cold.
I know, man. If that was my kids, but you know what? Although they did call off the search, the family stayed around,
right,
and looked, and families and friends still searched. The police left.
Well, and they didn't bring in dogs right off the bat.
Yeah,
and they're saying that they could have probably found them that night.
Right. Yeah. So anyway,
everything in hindsight. I mean, it was that's a small town.
It is a small town. It's 3,000 population. It is a small town.
How many does Mustang have?
And they probably never had a murder like this.
Like this, right.
Probably domestic dispute where someone got killed.
Right.
And they knew, exactly who did it, but they've got a big case on their hands, and I don't think they knew what they were doing.
Right. And too, with like teenagers, a lot of times they're like, well, they'll come back, and
they have, a lot of the everything's volunteer out there. Even I think the fire department is.
Right.
So even like when they were looking through those woods and it was after dark, it's cold, no lights, dude.
I know.
I would have lit that place up like a Christmas tree if that was my kids. I would have I would have ran to the hardware somewhere and rented some lights.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're basically going through there from what I guess I understand is with flashlights.
Yeah.
They didn't have the big. Oh no, because I mean,
needle in a haystack.
It's heavily. Yeah, there's lots of trees everywhere. Now,
oh, good.
No, I'm just gonna say, but it was in the winter, so leaves are gone. So
Well, it also
not that makes a difference.
This is to the point though, where they think it's somebody from the Delphi area, because you would almost have to know the terrain if you're walking it.
Here's my problem with that.
Okay.
If that was from the Delphi area, okay, and again, we got a population of 3,000 people.
Right.
And everybody in that town has not only seen the video, but heard the guy's voice, right?
Right.
He would have been found. Someone would have said, that's JW down the road. Or that's that same coat Bob wears.
Right.
I seriously
Delphi
think.
area. Somebody that has been there before.
Yeah, but I mean,
to know where the tracks are.
Well, now I'm not saying maybe it was someone who lived in Delphi at one time,
some point, right,
and knew that Monon High Bridge area,
right,
that park or whatever it's called. But I have a hard time thinking it's someone that lives there because somebody would recognize him,
right?
I mean, I think even in Mustang, and we're way bigger than that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. How many people live here now?
I know quite a few.
I mean, like, dude, thousands, like 60, 70. Yeah. I mean, it's like massive.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people here, but I don't know. It's just with a small town like that and not recognizing the guy, I don't know, man.
Well, the voice, too.
And the voice, too.
Hey, did you see
Hey, say down the hill. You kind of sound like that guy.
Guys, down the hill.
God, that's exactly. Okay, what's the rest of Garrett? Call the FBI. Get him out of here. And we'll talk about the FBI too, because I was curious why they were. Why was the FBI in this
involved.
thing? And we'll talk about a little bit about that too.
They were there quickly.
They were there quickly, and we'll talk about why. But guess what, guys? I figured out how to do a slideshow, and we'll just see if.
Yeah, we did it.
So we'll see if it works. We'll see if it works and we have no problems. Okay, so we're going to go through. We're going to put you on this. This is the Welcome to Delphi. So basically, I'm just going to give you a little narrative here. So at 1:35 p.m. on February 13th, 2017, 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty Rose German were dropped off by German's older sister, Kelsey German, at the trailhead on County Road 300 northwest of Hughes Heartland Highway. The girls were hiking on the Monon High Bridge over Deer Creek among woodlands in remote Deer Creek Township. At 2:07 p.m., Libby posted a photo of Abby on Snapchat walking on the bridge. After this, they weren't heard from again. They were reported missing at 5:30 p.m. after they failed to meet Liberty's father at 3:15. The family initially searched for the girls themselves before calling the police. Authorities who quickly searched the area did not initially suspect foul play and disappearance. I think they just thought the girls ran away.
Right.
Yeah. Or they just got lost or something, or just wandered off, or maybe their phone died. But however, this changed when the bodies of the girls were found around noon the next day, about a half a mile east of the abandoned Monon High Bridge. The bodies were about 50 feet from the north bank of Deer Creek. So let's go through a couple slides here. Let's see if this works, everybody. All right. Someone let me know if these slides are showing, showing up.
It looks like they are.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny. I can see it on the monitor. Okay, so this is a picture of Abby, or Libby and Abby, two very cute little girls, just, doing girl things.
Absolutely.
They had basically it was a snow day. They had an extra snow day they earned, so they gave them off the 13th. And so the girls wanted to go out to the Monon High Bridge and go walk across it. Now, let me show you this bridge, you guys.
They've remodeled it.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that too, because I've got a little beef with that. Okay. This is I know it's hard to see, but this bridge, okay, let me describe it to you. It's about 75 to 80 feet tall. It has absolutely no side rails on the side of it. There is probably, there's the bridge was built in 1875, I think, late 1800s. And so there's actually slats that 2 or 3 slats could be missing. So you've got to kind of hop over the area or you'll fall down into Deer Creek.
I'm good.
Right? So, yeah, one thing, I'm scared of heights, so there's no way you're
not getting on that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. This bridge, look how tall that is. And can you imagine if you just lost your balance? And I say a lot of people, they cross it and then they'll get about a quarter way and then they get on their hands and knees and they do the rest of it.
Like Lardass from Stand By Me.
Hey, man, that would be me.
Where you
that would
your
be
comb.
me.
Oh, man.
But anyway, yeah, Melinda says it's all over YouTube. Right. There's great pictures of this bridge. There's people on the bridge taking pictures and you actually see how dangerous this bridge is. This wood, guys, is from the 1800s. It's rotting. It's just dangerous. And that was one thing. Abby's mom saw that Snapchat of her,
right,
and said, "I'm going to kill her when she gets home."
Oh God,
yeah, because they're seeing her on that bridge.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, So all right, so let's go next slide. This is the last picture ever taken of Abby.
Hey, is he in the? Because I was seeing this earlier.
No, I know what you're going to say, and let me take my little arrow and point up here.
Yeah.
There, that back there.
Yeah.
Okay, that is actually just part of there's a trestle back there, like metal.
Okay.
And so a lot of people thought, hey, that's him way in the back. But actually it's not. It's just part of, there's some metal back there, like little gate-looking things. And so anyway, Liberty took this picture at, I guess, probably 2:06 because it went online at 2:07. And this is the last picture we saw. And next slide. Okay, this is the crime scene. Now, this is just 50 feet from the Deer Creek area. It just seems like, I guess when they did that search, man, they went to the wrong side.
Right.
Because they would have walked up on those bodies. 50 feet's not that far.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now, this girl is a hero, really, this Liberty.
She is, yeah.
There's some talk about, well, there's not talk. She got her phone out because this guy was creepy, she said, and it's actually recorded on there, but the public hasn't heard it.
Right.
So she takes her phone out and she starts filming this guy walking towards them, right? And so this is one of the pictures right here, a still picture of the video. Hey, Randy, that looks like you.
Randy.
I'm just teasing, Bubba. And so she got this picture. Now, the bad thing about it is so pixelated. If you blow it up too much, you just really can't see much out of it. And here's another picture, side by side. So she was smart enough that she felt something was wrong and took this picture, right?
Right. The wherewithal to do that. Right.
So what I'm going to try to do for you guys is, now I'm going to go over, hang on, I'm learning OBS, y'all, so just deal with me. So here, I'm going to go to the FBI's website, and I'm going to hopefully it'll be on there in just a yeah. And so I'm going to show you. They have a video of him walking, which they got from Abby's phone. They did recover the phone after she died. The guy must have not known that she had videoed it,
Right.
and left her phone behind. So this may play, and if it doesn't, I have a patch of the guy's voice, and so I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick for you guys. And here we go.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
So it sounds very warbly, and that's not on my end. That's just I think, Garrett, what they did was they took out some stuff that was on there that they didn't want people to hear.
Right.
Possibly.
Right.
Is what my guess is. So did everybody hear that where he said, guys down the hill?
Guys down the hill.
Yeah, and we're like on a 15-second delay, so I'll give you a chance. Did everybody see that okay? And what he was saying was guys down the hill. I know it's hard to hear because of the police recording, and that's the way the police recording sounds. It's very garbled, and being a musician, I can tell that they separated some of it.
Right, for sure.
That wobble, that stuff in the background, that they were cutting something out, because I've done that before in recordings where, see, I wanted to play guitar over something, and I'd pull the rhythm guitar track out, and on a mono track, it's hard to do.
Right.
And so you get this warbly.
Right, for sure.
So maybe one of the girls was saying something. Who knows? But let's go ahead and let's talk about some of the suspects. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Or should we talk about something else? I don't know.
Well, I wanted to talk about, before we get into the
Go ahead.
Suspects.
I'll switch us back on.
I just found it interesting. I was listening to. Did you see the guy that the Mindhunters is based off of?
Yes.
Did you watch that video of him talking about the Delphi murders?
I didn't, but I've watched. I love that series, man.
Okay, so it's based after a real guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He invented the word serial killer.
Right, and so he was talking about the Delphi murders, and he was saying that it's interesting, like the word guys. Mm-hmm. It's almost like something, because I do it a lot as a coach and a trainer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I'm always like guys. So, and he was saying it could, like a teacher or somebody that deals with kids a lot.
Yep.
Oftentimes will say like guys, and so he was like profiling this.
Yeah.
In a way. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then I heard another FBI profiler talking about, and this video on YouTube was about why aren't they releasing more information? And they were talking about the DNA.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're not releasing that is because, if Garrett commits a crime and I know that they have my DNA, then whenever I drink a soda pop, I'm not putting it in my trash can.
Right.
I'm not spitting on the ground. I'm not leaving my cigarette butt out. And so the FBI profiler was saying also, like, if there's somebody out there that said, hey, this guy was driving a white Honda, they don't necessarily want to put that out because sometimes they're getting like 1,800 tips a day.
Yeah, I know.
And they have to track all those down.
Right. I totally get that. I mean, I bet they're getting more than that a day.
Oh, 100%. At one point, they had 60,000 tips.
I sent one in 2 days ago.
Right. Hey, and I saw actually another video where they talked about that.
Yeah, I started looking, and we'll let the people know about what we're talking about.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's something I'm sure that, if stupid me can think of that, then I know the FBI thought of it.
Well, this lady was saying, like they have like these people that are in there that all have 10-pound brains for this kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And so they have something, and that's why they're like keeping it so tight. They have something that only the investigators know and the killer know.
Yeah, and let's talk about the FBI being involved in this a little bit.
Right, go for it.
Because usually on a state case, FBI is not showing up unless something else happens somewhere else, and certain signatures of a serial killer. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So I listened to a recording. They have a new DA, I believe, and I could be so wrong. Let me just say this first of all, guys. There's a guy named Hughes. He has a channel devoted to true crime, and he talks a lot about the Abby and Libby case. And this guy's sick, man. He's got like maps where he goes on Google Earth and he just like he'll draw here's where the bodies are, and here over here is what this is. I mean, exactly.
He's kind of like you.
Kind of like me, but I found out about it late, and I know just enough about it to sound stupid to those guys.
That's fine.
Like if they watch this right now, they'd be going, "That guy doesn't know what he's talking about."
Yeah, well, screw them.
But anyway, his name's Gray Hughes. Do not ask a stupid question. He will mutilate you online.
That's just uncalled for.
Yeah, it's like
It sounds like he's too big for his britches.
Well, he likes, it's like he wants people who've watched his channel, do your homework. Don't ask me silly questions.
What an a-hole.
And he'll call you out on it. And I think there's sometimes people are just, may say something, he misreads it, and he jumps all over him, and it's like, whoa.
Whoa, buddy.
But
calm down.
I've talked with him before. I mean, I've texted with him before. He's actually a pretty nice guy. But he does have an incredible dedication to this thing that I've never, to the point where the FBI called him and said, hey, if we find a subject, would you do all the graphic work?
That's cool. Yeah. It's difficult to do that stuff.
Yeah. The guy's really good at what he does. But anyway, so let's talk about the FBI. From what I understand, there was 2 or 3 signatures left at the scene. Now, this doesn't mean he wrote a signature on a tree.
Right.
This means that possibly FBI has a serial killer that has certain evidence he always leaves.
Right.
To let him know, hey, it's me.
Hey, by the way, it's me.
Kind of like Manson, they wrote on the walls in blood.
Right.
But although it took
Zodiac.
LAPD 3 months to figure that out. Zodiac, another good one. So that's kind of suspicious. The FBI shows up, and I was
almost quickly, like the next day.
They were there the next day, and they said, they were saying, we're just here to help them. I think it was more than that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And when the new DA, and I think that is right. If I'm wrong, guys, I could be wrong, but I think they have a new DA, and he was saying, and he's the one that said, well, there's some signatures this guy left at the crime. They think the girls were posed.
Okay. Because they haven't talked about any of that, openly.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and just, okay, again, guys, this is speculation, and it's disturbing, but from what I've heard, they put the girls side by side, or he did. He put Abby's hands like this across her chest, like she was in a casket or whatever.
Right.
And Liberty was completely nude and covered in leaves. Now, the rumor is there was no sexual assault on this, but there's some people that believe that his DNA, maybe he cut his hand, maybe something got on Liberty's clothes, that he took the clothes with him.
Okay, got it.
So that they wouldn't.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because that was the weird thing. She's nude, so you're automatically thinking, okay, sexual assault. Right. But the rumor is, and we don't know because they have not released anything. This is all hearsay, guys.
Yeah.
But the rumor is there was no rape, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, this guy did this in a park, where there's people.
Yeah.
Now, you would think you would hear the girl screaming because there's actually, I think, a few people in the park around the time this would have been going down. Now, he wasn't that far.
Right.
And they did a scream test, too, with a girl where the bodies were screaming, can you hear it from the bridge or on the trail? And, yeah, they could. So how did this, he either knocked these girls out unconscious immediately.
For sure.
And dragged them. Another thing is you got to think, how do you control 2 girls?
Right.
And so I'm thinking he had a gun, right?
Right.
That's the way you do it. But if you also, bless their hearts, man, if even with a gun, if they both would have took off separate directions, he would have panicked.
Yeah, for sure. He would have.
He wouldn't have shot him because there's people there.
Right.
He would have got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
But you've got 2 little girls. They're not going to think about that. But I was thinking the other day, it's like, God, if they just would have just both separated.
Right.
You'd be, who do I go after? You don't.
Shit, let's just get out of here.
You shit. Yeah, you're screwed because even if I chase the other girl and I grab her, the other girl's getting away.
Well, and even at this point, and that also takes time. And he obviously had to get in and get out.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing he had to knock them out quickly.
Right. Well, and it sounds like he was just a murderer,
Yeah, like
which also kind of ties in the FBI.
right. So going back to the FBI, so I think that's why the FBI was there, because they were curious if possibly a serial killer they're looking for in a different state.
Can I ask you a question I've been curious about, and I'm sure somebody can Google this? Jamie, can you Google
Jamie, can you Google it? What do you guys think about stash? I'm doing a beard too.
Looks super good.
How about that? Huh?
I almost shaved my head today.
God, did you really?
I just do that sometimes.
Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. I remember you did that.
Yeah, I just
before.
do that.
But go ahead and ask a question.
So, how many active serial killers do you think there are currently in the United States?
I don't think it was anything like it was in the 70s and the 80s and, well, say the late
There's also
60s.
way
70s.
more people, though.
Well, there's way more people, and forensics has got really good.
Yeah.
So,
True.
like, I don't think the Zodiac could have got away with what he did.
Right, for sure.
They would have eventually caught him.
I mean, but do you know how many unsolved murders there are every year? It's something astronomical.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be, the thing is, I remember, when I grew up in the 70s, it was like every other day, the Hillside Strangler, the Son of Sam,
Green River.
the Green River,
Yeah.
the Ted Bundy killings.
BTK.
At that time, we didn't know it was Bundy.
Yeah.
There were
BTK,
serial killers like all over the place in the 70s.
Right, yeah.
Well,
they were finding a way to actually put them into a category.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's kind of going along with the Mine Hunters
Right.
thing, where they started, he started interviewing all these serial killers to see if he could get clues on what makes these guys tick, what do we look for.
Right.
So, hey, Garrett, did you notice I got the number now? Right
I
there?
like that.
Isn't that cool?
Hey, did you guys notice I'm wearing socks today?
Does everybody notice Garrett is wearing socks today? Ah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because
That's a good question. If somebody's not doing anything and you're getting bored, look up how many active serial killers are there now currently. I don't know. I know they had a problem in New Jersey.
Long Island.
It was right after I left New Jersey is when all that started
The
happening.
Long Island.
Long Island's another
Dude,
one.
That one is, hey, we need to do a show on that. That is.
Yeah. The New Jersey one's good too. Because he was laying these girls, they were all facing west.
Well, they're trying to tie those two together.
the Long Island as well?
And the New Jersey one.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so they're trying to tie that in as the same guy.
Yeah, man.
Both of which are unsolved.
Right.
And it's like 13 women. And one kid.
Yeah, it's. I mean, because you would think there's the same amount of mental illness then as there is now.
I'll bet there's more now.
But I would, and this may be, I probably shouldn't even say this because it sounds stupid.
Say it.
I'm going to say it. The sexual predator serial guys, right?
Yeah.
I think can curb that a little bit because there's so much internet porn now. And any type of porn you can think of,
right,
you can find it. So if these guys are sadistic and they're into sadistic porn, they can watch that and possibly, fulfill themselves with it.
Well, and also think about, like you said earlier, about how far forensics have come.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
in order to keep continuously getting away with that, they're going to have to be like getting rid of bodies.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the DNA. I mean, you leave a hair follicle.
I know.
You're done. Especially if you're in CODIS, if you're in a system.
Well, and now they're doing the genealogy type of stuff too, where
that's brilliant. They've already caught a whole bunch of people. If you guys know I don't know if you know what he's talking about, but they caught the Golden State Killer.
That case is phenomenal.
Yeah, 47 years old case, right?
Dude, and the way that the lady did it, it's this one lady who started it.
Well,
from like Arizona.
Paul Holes is actually the guy who did all the DNA research and got with. You might be talking about CC.
Is that a woman?
It's a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think,
dude, she reverse engineered this family tree.
Yeah.
And it's just remarkable.
Yeah.
Like when you actually look at the family tree that she reverse engineered to find the killer. It's
so basically what Garrett's talking about is there was a serial killer back in the 70s that went all through the 70s, and it went into, I think,
like a 10-year period.
1986 he stopped, and then that was it. And they had all this DNA from rape kits and everything. Right. And someone had a great idea about, hey, let's upload this guy's DNA into like an Ancestry.com or GEDmatch. Well, they had to go with GEDmatch because the other one, Ancestry, they wouldn't allow for you to put up a profile to find someone guilty of anything.
Yeah.
Which I think is stupid.
It is. Yeah.
But I see people are like,
Privacy.
you're one of those people
Yeah.
that don't like their DNA up there in case
Yeah.
you've committed a crime in the past.
Yeah.
Garrett.
Or in planning to.
Yeah. So anyway, so they uploaded the serial killer's DNA. They put it in GEDmatch. They gave him a phony name. It hit on third cousin.
Right. And so then
They had to build a family tree with a third cousin to
narrow it down.
They finally narrowed it down to like 4 guys in the California area.
Yep.
And finally narrowed it down to the one guy.
Right.
And he wasn't even on the radar, man.
Well, and
He was an ex-cop for
there
one
had been
thing.
a sneaking suspicion that maybe this person had been in law enforcement because
Right, or military. They didn't know.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the Delphi. FBI is on the case.
FBI is on the case.
And,
So
hey, that's a good point though, because that stood out to me today when I was watching some stuff on it. Is that I was like, man, why is the FBI there so quick? And I didn't go down that rabbit hole or anything.
yeah, well,
But
I'm assuming. I mean, I think I also heard that too. I read somewhere else. After I heard that there were signatures left, I thought, okay, that's why the FBI is there.
right,
They may have had a killing that was similar. Now there's a killing. 2 girls, a little younger than Libby and Abby, in Iowa, Evansdale. They were killed in a park as well,
oh, okay,
and that's unsolved. Now, is there any correlation? I don't know. Is that why the FBI was there? I don't know.
yeah,
But the FBI was there because this happened similar
right.
somewhere. But they're, like I said, they're not releasing anything. So
Well, and there's a lot of frustration in the public wanting more details.
They do.
3 years from now.
Well, they don't like, for instance, which is like, there's more on that phone. Now, hopefully to God, it doesn't have the murder recorded, but
Right.
it's a strong possibility she put her phone in her pocket
for sure.
and it caught the whole crime.
Right.
And, which would be just totally disturbing. But there's got to be more sections, I would think. I mean, just guys down the hill is
It's
like, we
so-
need more than that.
Yeah. Well, there is more than that.
Oh, there is. I'm sure there's other things, but maybe, I mean, and like I said, if he said guys down the hill and then 3 seconds later started beating them over the head
Right.
to
Yeah.
knock them out
And then drug them down there. Yeah.
and drug them down, or then they're, who knows?
That's a good point. But it's such a odd thing to just be like, guys. And then you're right about the recording. There's a little bit of a break. It's like,
yeah.
guys,
Hey, Regina, look up the state, the state police officer who's the head of that. I can't, and I know I see his name every day when I watch this thing, and I just can't think
Hey, did you see
think
that,
of it.
Did you see that press conference where he was like, you could very well be in this room right now.
Yeah, and which kind of made it sound like they thought people were suspicious of that they knew who this was.
Well, and also the FBI profiler I was listening to said that they gave 4 days in advance notice, and that sometimes the FBI will do that.
Yeah, it's brilliant, so
Yeah.
that the suspect will show up.
Yeah, they'll draw him in. It's a power thing.
And it's if he was from Delphi, and I still don't think he was, he very well could have been in a search party.
100. Well, that happens a lot.
Oh yeah, they search, and just a horror. I just that's just a horrible crime. These poor kids. All right, so should we talk about some suspects?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go back to. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so we've got a few suspects in this case. This man is at the top of the list for a whole lot of people. His name is Thomas Bruce. I'll read a little bit about him. He was Thomas Bruce, who formerly worked as a pastor, is charged with fatally shooting one woman and sexually assaulting 2 others after having ordered them at gunpoint into the back room of a suburban St. Louis shop for religious supplies. Committed in broad daylight on November 19th, 2018, these crimes put Bruce in the spotlight of the press. Some noted his being of similar stature, 5'7" to 5'9", and to then current suspect description in the Delphi slaying, so it's similar.
Right.
Also, his wearing a flat cap and navy blue jacket during this attack, not unlike the suspect in the Delphi case. Indiana State Police did look into the possible connection in November. On December 4th, Bruce was charged with no fewer than 17 felony counts related to St. Louis case and could receive the death penalty. He is at the top of the list for a lot of people. Michael Catt's one of them. He's another guy that has his own show on Delphi. He kind of looks like him. I got to admit, if you put a hat on him and, and had a grainy picture of him, but I guess it could be a lot of people too,
No, absolutely.
But yeah, he's the top of the list for a lot of folks. Did you read anything about him at all?
No, I'm familiar with the case out of St. Louis, though.
Yeah.
I saw something on it on the ID channel. And, dude, it was just, like, super brazen and terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It's a monster.
Yeah,
he's definitely, like, an evil.
The guy's evil,
person.
and he poses a pastor.
Right.
Yeah. Had his own, church.
Man.
And, yeah, exactly. So, like I said, he is at top of the list for most folks. Next picture. This is Daniel Nations. I think he looks nothing like it.
Yeah, but they release younger.
Yeah, and we'll you know what? I forgot to print that, but I'll pull it up on. We'll do a web capture of it. I'll get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing, guys. They threw a wrench
3 years later.
Oh my God! Yeah, totally opposite sketch of what you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
And we'll show you that in a little bit. And that really confused a lot of people, including myself, when I saw it. So I'm thinking, okay, is there two people, or is this guy, does someone get a really good description of him or saw him?
Yeah, well, whenever we talk about that, I have something to say about it, so we'll go.
Okay.
We'll touch on it.
Well, this is Daniel Nations. To me, I don't know. What do you think, Garrett? He doesn't look like...
No, in fact, he doesn't even really look like the other sketch. But they are saying that it could be somebody between the ages of 18 to 40.
Right.
Or somebody older that resembles somebody younger, which also threw me for a loop because when you watch the guy walk, there's like a bit of a limp. He doesn't look like somebody that's younger than me at all. So I don't know.
I would put him around 55.
Yeah, 100%.
Something
Same
about,
here.
about my age is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And also the walking.
Dude, I thought you were 45.
Yeah. No, I'm 35.
Oh, 30. You're my age.
You forgot. I'm 35. I'm not 45. God, don't make me old.
But no, that
let me
for a loop, though.
Okay, let me say this about the walking thing. Here's something we got to take into consideration. There are slats missing out of there.
True.
So you're looking down when you're walking on this bridge, because if not, you fall to your death.
Right.
The way he's limping, it could be he's trying to miss a slat, or keep from falling. Definitely, you can tell he's concentrating, but you can also tell from the video, even though it's 2 or 3 seconds, he's probably walked this bridge before.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot of people
that are just flying.
That are just, if it's your first time going over that bridge,
right?
You're thinking, the last thing on your mind is killing people.
Right. Yeah.
You want to save your life getting across this bridge. So
he really wanted to get across.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think
he knew how.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of agree with you. The Delphi connection, sure. He definitely knew this place.
Well, yeah. I mean, can you imagine going to that park?
I think maybe he could have once lived there, or he has a relative there that he visits maybe,
Right.
And he's familiar with it. Okay, so let's talk about Daniel Nations a little bit. To me, I say no. But Daniel J. Nations, a registered sex offender from Indiana, was arrested in Woodlands Park, Colorado in September 2017 and charged with threatening strangers on a monument trail with a hatchet. The expired Indiana plates on the car Nations was driving was noticed by the police, who subsequently, I should not ever read, discovered an outstanding warrant under his name. Fanning public speculation still further, it was reported that a bicyclist, you're going to start reading, Garrett, had been fatally shot on the same trail at around the time that Nations was purportedly terrifying passerbys with his axe. An El Paso County Sheriff spokesman told reporters that, however many similarities there were between the cases, he was not at liberty to disclose them, since Indiana investigators did not want any more information released.
There's a reason.
Yeah,
man, I don't know. That's a stretch.
Well, here's the thing about their biggest fear is about a false confession. So if they release too much information, but here's my contradictory thing on that, right? Yeah. They know what the guy looks like. Not only that, they know what the guy sounds like. So if some guy comes to my office and he doesn't fit the description of the guy I just listened to and watched on the video,
right?
He didn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the thing about so it kind of blows that to hell. I mean, I think there's got to be something like you're talking about. There's some piece of evidence that's really important.
The guy said, we're one piece away. I want you to, we're going to be here in year 4, because every year he does and actually this year they didn't do a press conference on the 3-year anniversary. or
Yeah.
they waited. And then he went on and did an interview, and he said, I will be here for year 4. We're one piece away from solving this thing.
Right.
So I feel like they're closing in, but there's something that they know. And he even said it. He's like, we know, the killer knows that we know stuff, and he just doesn't know what we know.
Yeah.
Which makes it all the more interesting. But
So
this
why
guy-
do you think it's taking so long? If they have that much supposed evidence, and here's something else I wonder, Garrett, and maybe someone out there can answer this for us because I don't know the law. I've never been
Right.
Well, I don't think I've been arrested. No,
Not that I can remember.
not that I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about. But anyway, okay. There's a certain individual on YouTube who he says is Thomas Bruce. And however, Thomas Bruce is in custody in Missouri, right? And he's waiting trial for
Right.
this other crime. Now, he's claiming to him, I have no business doing this. Okay, good night, everybody. No, but according to him, he believes that if they have evidence, strong evidence, even physical evidence against this guy, they're not going to charge him until after his trial. Now,
Oh,
well, I would say if I'm a Carroll County sheriff and I know who it is
Yeah.
and I'm pressing charges, I'm announcing that immediately because people are killing me,
absolutely.
killing me about, hey.
Well,
you know,
and also that doesn't really hold much weight either, because the amount of manpower and the fact that they're still getting all these, I mean, that's taking resources away from their actual department. So I feel like if they knew it was him, they would just, like you said, go ahead and make the announcement. We're going to charge him afterwards.
right, we're going to let him. Well, didn't they do that with Bundy when he's in Florida?
I don't know.
Because I think he was wanted for murders in Washington or something, and it wasn't like they're going to say, well, let's wait until he gets
Yeah. He's wanted-
they were already getting ready to extradite him
He's
back.
wanted here. He's wanted there for this.
Right,
and
so
that,
I don't think that holds water.
'cause you
but
wanna-
again, I'm
yeah.
not an attorney. It'd be, I'm going to contact a defense attorney around here and ask.
Yeah, do it.
If that's because I have heard. I talked to one of my future son-in-laws, not you.
Yep.
And he said that's called second page. I don't know what that
Okay.
means, but he says sometimes they'll do that. They won't announce anything. They'll let the guy go through his trial. And then boom, they charge him again.
Well, and partly part of that is they don't want to interfere with the ongoing trial.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's true. But man, I would think if you had the amount of pressure that these people have of solving this case, and they actually said, man, we got enough physical evidence, we can convict this guy.
Right, yeah.
Whether it's DNA or a personal property he left that they connected
Right,
to him,
yeah.
whatever, that they'd be going, let's announce this so we let the people feel safe. Hey, this guy, he's locked up right now.
Yeah.
You guys don't have to worry about your children at the park. He's in
Yeah,
jail.
I just don't think, I think that they would just screw second page.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that.
You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, so let's move on. So
Hey, let's go ahead and mark Daniel J Nations off. Hey, watch tomorrow. They're like, we found the Delphi murderer. Daniel J Nation.
yeah, exactly. All right, here's our next suspect.
Paulie.
Let me say something before we go any further.
Yeah.
Because some people are actually angry at me for doing this, but I don't care. People get angry when you do side by sides, when you don't know if it's a killer. They're saying, well, you're going to ruin this guy's life. You don't know it's him. But here's my take on it. You rape a little girl.
Yep.
You kill anybody. And we know these people were previously charged with horrible things.
Right.
You lost your rights as far as I'm concerned. I can compare you to fucking Manson or whatever I want to do at that point.
Well, and here's the other point is, in one of the segments I was watching, they're like, now please don't take, if you know someone around town.
That I get.
Right.
But when I'm taking convicted felons.
100%. Well, and also
I just got my butt chewed out from Gray Hughes, actually. He goes, man, you really shouldn't be doing side by sides. And it's like, the guy's a douchebag. He killed somebody. Now, I would not take somebody who's never been convicted and I think, okay, let's say Garrett.
Yeah.
And I take, I think it's this guy because they look similar. No, I'm not going to do that. But if you've been convicted of a crime as horrible as what this crime was, all bets are off, man. I don't have a problem with it.
And you pulled that from the internet, so.
Yes, I did.
You didn't make that side by side.
I can do it now.
Cool.
I figured it out. I had to ask Gina to do it for me, and then
Well, if it makes
I figured it out a few minutes before she
If
did.
it makes people feel better, you can do it side by side with me later. Love that.
Okay. So Regina, if you did find out his name, then the Carroll County state officer that I'm talking about, and I want to say it starts with a D. I can't remember though. Okay, so let's go with Paul Edders here. On July 23rd, 2019, after receiving a tip, authorities announced that Paul Eder was being considered a person of interest in the murders. Eder was wanted for kidnapping and rape of a 26-year-old woman on June 22nd in Tippecanoe County. 5 days later, Eder was surrounded by police, and after a 5-hour standoff, he died by suicide. He shot himself. So if he was the killer, we'd never know.
Right.
I got to say, when I first saw his picture, I was like, wow,
Yep.
maybe. Because I've seen a full body shot of him, and is he similar to this guy?
Well, like I kind of talked to you about was the neck, the shoulders and the neck. And, there's similarities there.
Yeah, the thing,
And just the crime.
the thing that's bad about is not his MO.
Right.
Right. Yeah. This guy was convicted. Basically, and again, I'm sorry, I want to get my story straight. I believe he was, this lady needed help with something on her car. She got in the car with him. He took and raped her, but he brought her back home and dropped her off.
God.
Now, the Delphi killer would have killed your ass and left you there.
Right. Right.
I mean, Paul Eder brought this girl back to her home, from what I understand, and he let her go.
Right, yeah.
So, of course,
He kidnapped her first.
Kidnapped her, right, and then raped her, and then brought her back. That's really not the bridge guy's motivation at all. I mean, in fact, I think he gets a thrill. He's targeting children.
Right.
And I think, and it's not even, he didn't rape them, well, as far as we know, but just the thrill of seeing the fear of a little kid. And I've read about that, which is just, God, I used to understand that.
Well, one of the things that leads me to believe that there wasn't really sexual assault is that, dude, they would have been reverse engineering that family tree. That would have been done in 3 months. They would have narrowed it down. They would have followed his ass, taken his trash. They would have been dumpster diving. They would have followed him to McDonald's, took a straw.
Right. And even,
Yeah,
and that's the thing, too. Does he have DNA? We just don't know. And if you're calling, save your call for right now. I'll get with you guys here in a minute. I'm sorry. But now I lost my train of thought.
Well, that's what happens when we get phone calls all the time.
Yeah. We know the phone is ringing off the hook.
We were talking about the DNA.
What I was going to say is there's not any proof of DNA, that they have DNA.
Right.
They haven't announced that. Although one of the deputy sheriffs accidentally slipped. I think he
I was going to say they've
said
alluded,
that on a...
They've alluded
Yeah,
to,
and there's been a couple... There's one guy I know of who has a channel, and he lives in Delphi, and he said that he does a whole story about this. So he fell under suspicion, and they came to his house to get his DNA. And he told him, "You're not getting my DNA, and thank you for letting me know you have DNA on the case."
Yeah.
And sent him out the door. And the funny thing is, this guy that I'm talking about, he's tall, skinny, long hair, beard, hippie-looking dude. He's really, he looks nothing like the bridge guy. So, I mean, just what a waste of manpower.
Well, they were taking DNA from just a lot of local people, though.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you have to fit the description somewhat?
Yeah, but they say that's one reason why they haven't released a lot of information is because for every tip that they get, you're almost obligated to debunk it and to track it down.
Yeah.
So if somebody called in on this guy and was like, "Oh, he's fascinated with the Delphi murders," he's like, you're like obligated. Okay, well, let's go see if we can get DNA. Oh, we couldn't get DNA.
Right.
Okay, cool. You're good. You don't look like him anyways. Thank God. Okay, thank you. Next.
So if they got DNA, every suspect that we were discussing tonight is not guilty.
Another FBI,
because they would have took him in custody, unless they do page 2, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Well, and does it matter what kind of DNA it is? I guess not.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, Kathy Owen, I see you out there, and yeah, I'll let you call in. Let me and Garrett kind of finish this presentation, and then we'll get
Yeah, I
with
want to
you.
hear from Kathy for
Yeah,
sure.
Kathy's a psychic, and me and her have been talking, and I've sent her pictures of different suspects, and she kind of has a gut feeling about one of them. Kind of the same guy, I think it is.
Hey, and one of the theories that the FBI profiler I was listening to mentioned about the whole like leaking of the DNA type stuff is because it is such a small town that you would notice if somebody was like if you were out to eat with somebody and they took the straw out of their cup and like put it in their pocket at the end of dinner, you'd be like, oh, that's really mysterious.
Yeah.
You know, like not, you know, so you would notice they would have to change their behavior.
Right.
And they're hoping that people would notice that, take notice of the changed behavior in people, especially suspects.
Yeah. So, I wish I guess you can't really say whether you got DNA or not, but I mean, like I said, I think the sheriff kind of dropped the ball. I think he did admit that they did. He didn't mean to say it. And then the fact that he went to this YouTube guy,
Right.
and asking for his DNA kind of shows, yeah, he does have DNA, right?
Right.
So, I'm sorry, I'm connecting this real quick. If you want to talk to the audience real fast.
I have nothing to say to the audience. I'm just kidding. No, this is a really sad case though, and I really want to.
Absolutely,
because for the family too, and the sister, and
absolutely heartbreaking.
He was trying to keep it relevant and everything like that, and it just there has to be an ending to it. There will be. I'm confident. I really am.
I'm not. We're going on 4 years.
47 years, Golden Gate guy though.
I know.
But you're right though.
And it's going to be DNA that catches this guy.
It has to be.
Or
confession, or,
Right.
somebody doing the right thing and being like, I noticed that voice. I see this guy walk through my door every day because I live with him.
Yeah. But what's interesting is, do you think someone recognizes him, it's their dad, do they turn him in?
Well,
it's their husband, right. Do they turn him in?
Right. Are they scared?
I've actually, not only that, just because they don't want to turn in their loved one.
Well, 100%.
And I've asked, I was surprised with the answers I've got. I asked 3 or 4 people. I said, if you knew your dad was involved in a serial murder and you knew actually 100% he did it, and you saw a video, would you turn him in? And a lot of them said, I'd have to really think about that.
Nope. Sorry, Dad. Love you. But
yeah, you kill. Yeah. If you murder someone, that would be
daughters.
So, yeah.
I got kids.
If my dad was still alive,
if my
he
dad
killed somebody.
Yeah. If my dad got into it with someone else on the road and killed him and then bounced, and I don't think I would I'm probably like, hey, sorry.
There's a lot of theories out there, and a lot of people believe someone knows who this guy is.
100%.
They just don't want to turn him in because either he's a loved one or they're scared of him.
Right, 100%.
And
or they're dead now.
Do you think think he's ever talked to somebody about this? The good serial killers don't.
Well,
Bundy never.
Right,
Bundy, the Golden State Killer. So
just living BTK. Just living normal life.
Absolutely. The BTK was a deacon in the church.
Yeah.
He had the day he got arrested, he was worried about the church was having a dinner, and he wasn't sure that they had enough spaghetti sauce. So he went home, made a bunch of spaghetti sauce, and took it up there to him.
So nice.
Isn't that weird though that they had that part of them that maybe is caring about these people,
right?
But has this dark side that they can't control.
They have to feed it.
And they have to feed
the monster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's odd to me. Okay, so let's move on. This is our last. This is the suspect I like.
Do you hate?
I hate him, but I think this is the guy.
I agree. I'm going to be 100% with you on this one.
Okay. This is Charles Eldridge. He was arrested on January 8th, 2019, Union City, Indiana, on a charge of child molestation and child solicitation. Police in Randolph County alerted the FBI of a potential link between Eldridge and the Delphi murders on account of his strong resemblance to the suspect sketch. Now, still with me saying that, everybody know everyone's innocent until proven guilty. So even though I kind of feel like maybe he had something to do with it, I could be totally wrong. It's just a picture. He resembles But the thing that kind of got me was the interest in children. And what this guy did, he had went on like one of those like chat rooms
Yep.
and pretended to be a 13-year-old kid.
Yep.
Well, he ended up
Sting
talking
operation.
to a police officer, and he was going to meet this 13-year-old girl for sex, and the police officer showed up. They took him into custody, and then he admitted to that he had had sexual relations with a 12-year-old
Jesus Christ.
a couple of years before that. Now, here's an interesting theory, and I'm just throwing it out there because this is what some people believe. Some people believe that Abby or Libby was on a chat room, and that's the reason they went out to Monon High Bridge to
Interesting.
meet some
Okay.
some other boy out there.
And then this creep walks up.
And then this creep shows up and kills him. Now,
And they're like, wait, that's not the boy. Let's get him videotape. Let's, freaking
Yeah.
out. Okay.
so and that's
Wow,
his,
that's interesting.
That's his
MO.
That's his MO.
Yeah.
Now, to be the devil's advocate, Abby's mom, Libby's grandma, said that the girls didn't really dress up, though. They didn't put on any makeup. So she was thinking if they were going to go meet a boy, they'd probably put makeup on and dress kind of nice.
I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
I don't know.
And I'm going to go ahead and show this next picture. There's a picture of Charles Eldridge in his kitchen.
Hey, can I, before you do that, because this is going to be big, what you're about to show.
Yeah.
Do you know another interesting thing about this guy?
What?
Is he on Facebook and other platforms,
Oh, his Facebook's odd.
like super into
Yeah.
killings and kids and just super odd.
Did
Even
you-
the Delphi thing.
Yeah, he had the Delphi stuff up on his Facebook. He also had missing children stuff.
Yeah, like
He-
really into missing children and stuff.
But
yeah.
one of the weirdest things he had was a picture of a lion, and it said something like, "I slowly stalk my prey, I take my time, and I wait for the right moment."
Jesus.
So it was almost like, almost
Hey,
self-proclaimed.
These kind of guys, though, like they feel like they're above.
Oh,
the normal
the
like, they're
Delphi. Yeah, the
sociopaths.
Delphi killer. He's thinking,
He's getting a
these
kick
guys
out
will
of
never
it.
catch. They'll
Yeah,
never catch
I
me.
mean, even that guy, like he's like almost putting it out there. He's poking the bear.
Now I'm sure he about pooped his pants when
I hope he did
when
poop
that
his
video
pants.
was shown
Yeah,
and a voice.
because you've
You
heard
know-
his voice too.
Yeah,
You've heard his voice. They have it on recording.
calling his dog, but
Yeah.
it's still too hard to. I mean, that voice almost sounds a little too high.
Yeah, but he's talking to his dog. He's not ordering
But
two girls down the
he's
fucking-
not ordering two girls down for their
to their
murders.
death, right?
Okay, so I'm going to share with the audience. I'm going to do this anyway. Okay, guys. I was told not to by a certain person on YouTube because you don't supposed to put side by sides. But you know what? This guy's a child molester. He's a piece of crap. I don't care.
Post it.
Okay.
Show it.
So let me tell him first. Let me give you a little history. So, and I'm sure the FBI already did this, but there's a picture of him in his kitchen. He's wearing jeans, and I thought, I wonder if there's a certain pattern on those jeans that's similar to the bridge guy's jeans.
Freaking
Right.
gumshoe.
So I put the two pictures together, and I will show you what I came up with. This is him in the kitchen. Oops, and that was the wrong button to push.
And that's this.
Yeah, how funny is that? So I went to the scene too. Okay. So anyway, this is a picture of him in the kitchen. Now, if you look at him, Garrett, he's kind of the same stocky built.
Yep, shoulders.
Legs
Yep,
look
gotcha.
exactly the same to me. And also, one thing I also think, if you look at the jacket, it looks like he's got all sorts of stuff in that jacket.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a change of clothing in there. There could be weapons.
That's a good point.
He's got a fanny pack right here.
Mm-hmm.
He may have a gun in his pocket. His hands are in a pocket. But if you look how bulky it looks right here, he's
Right.
carrying equipment. There's something in there. Whether it's a bag that he's going to put those clothes in
Right.
and get rid
Yep.
of later. Okay, so anyway, here's the next picture. All right, so I don't know if you probably can't see this pointer, but let's look at the first circle around the jeans on his right leg. There's a white.
Tell them which picture you're looking at.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bridge guy.
Okay.
Okay, that's what they call him. If you notice, there's a bleach spot right there. And then let's go over to the picture on the right of Charles Eldridge, and there's a bleach spot right there on the knee. We have a tear on the bridge guy's leg, obviously, right there.
On his left leg.
On his left leg. If we go to the left leg of Charles Eldridge, there is a rip there as well.
That one's very obvious.
It's very obvious.
And it's funny because you know how ripped jeans are like popular.
Yeah, and also
but it's like that rip. It's like a tear across the kneecap.
Yeah,
which we have daughters, so we've seen the ripped jeans thing. They're like, look at me real quick, Keith. They're like ripped like this, you know, like a lion, like tore it off. Yeah, that's like the style.
Right.
That is like it's cut.
It's cut directly across. Yeah, Regina, I see your post where you said they can't see my pointer. That's fine. So you'll just have to follow what I say. So from his left knee on the bridge guy, let's go up to the other circle that's up towards his hip. And if you look there, there is a white, what looks to be a bleach spot. And if we go over to Charles Eldridge on the left, there is a bleach spot almost towards his butt right there on the white. Now, again, this is all speculation on my part, okay? All right, so let's go to bridge guy. Upper left on his right crotch area, there's a dark line right here. You can see it. If we go over to Charles Eldridge crotch area, dark line as well. So does it mean anything? I don't know.
It means they need to find those pants.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I bet they've looked. Yeah, I mean, because you know this is FBI 101, I'm sure. When they also saw that.
This guy sees his own picture on there. Those things went in the fire.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He probably trashed all that stuff. But yeah.
Is he currently in prison? He is, right?
Yes, he is.
He's in there for a long time. He's
sitting in prison, currently waiting his sentence. COVID has put everything behind. Like even Thomas Bruce, his sentencing was supposed to be, or his trial was supposed to start in October. Because of COVID, it's going to be sometime next year.
Okay.
This guy, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same. But I just put those up there. But with being fair, I didn't look at every frame of the picture. Those all could be light anomalies. But even just that rip. Now, I know for looking at him walking, you can tell there's a tear in his jeans.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But just to be fair, like I said, these all could be light anomalies. I don't know. But they look awful suspicious to me.
They really do.
Especially that bleach spot on the knee down on the right side.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
I mean, the MO, the genes, and for me, when I was listening to the voice, I could kind of see a similarity. I just wish that they would release more of the voice of the recording, but...
Yeah, I do too. I mean, they have some, but it could be him screaming and killing the two children.
Right.
Which would be absolutely horrible. So that's the slideshow, people. And now you know a little bit about the case. But this case, if you guys are interested in it, it's all over YouTube. It's all over podcast. You can look it up on. I mean, there's a podcast called Down the Hill. If you guys are new to it, that's the one to listen to. It's about 6-part series.
Yep.
And it's very interesting, very good. So at this point, Kathy Owen, if you'd like to go ahead and call, you go right ahead and call. And Kathy, like I said, Kathy and I have been sharing. I've shared some pictures with her and just said, hey, look at these pictures. Tell me what your gut feeling is. She's a psychic, like I said. But again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. We are not saying anyone is guilty. We're just saying exactly what we're saying is they're suspects only, and nothing more than that.
We're laying out what the public knows and what the public is inquiring about.
Right. So,
like, we didn't go out there and find these guys.
There we go. Howdy do. Can you hear me, Kathy? Hey, how are you, hon?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. How are you?
Good.
I'm great. Are you out driving your big truck?
Hold on, let me turn this down because I got you pulled up on YouTube as well. So hold on.
Art would say, turn your radio down, please.
Kathy, can you please?
Hey, I got to turn the volume down a little bit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like so way down. Hold on.
Okay, that's fine.
No,
We'll wait.
I'm not drunk. Let's turn this down because I got you pulled up on YouTube as well. So, oh my gosh, hold on. My volume
All right.
button is like
You're
still
reminding
not
me of
it's
Keith.
playing with me. There we go. I got it.
Did you get it?
Yes, I can hear you guys great.
You sound like you're in a bar.
Oh no, I'm sitting in my living room.
Hey, so what?
Oh no, I wish I was.
What happened?
It was a rough day for me today. So
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're getting your commercial truck driving license. Is that what's going on? Right? You're in truck driving school.
yes, I am.
Awesome.
Yep,
And-
I sure am.
And you were a truck driver for many years before that with your.
Well, not too many. I was truck driver for 4 years. Right?
Well,
Yeah, good
that's
enough.
long enough. My buddy Randy out there, he's
Yeah.
listening. He's a truck driver too. So,
Right on. Hello.
Hey, Randy.
Fellow driver.
hey Randy, if you're still out there, say hi. So I know you're still there. Randy's like my best friend in high school. He's probably already fell asleep. Done. Okay, Kathy.
Probably,
so let's talk about some of these suspects. I sent you 4 pictures, and then I sent you a 5th one of this. I had sent you Charles Eldridge before. But first, you said you got a strong feeling about Thomas Bruce. So how's that feeling? Is it still there?
Actually, it reversed, and I have a much more stronger feeling with that Charles.
Okay.
I mean, it stands out to me. It's just, I started, like I said, with him, I just felt so nauseated, sick. I started crying,
Mm-hmm.
and I could feel pain, and just, I knew, I said, this one has a connection.
So
This one has the connection of what happened.
let me play the devil's advocate for a minute. Okay, so we know all 4 of these
Okay.
guys. All 4 of these guys did horrible things. So how do you know that you're actually not sensing what they did in the past and not the Delphi murders? Good question,
That's
Keith.
dude. Fantastic.
Yeah, it is a good question.
Yeah, because like I said, when you first told me, oh, it's Thomas Bruce, and then after I sent you Eldridge, you said, oh, I think it's Eldridge. So, but wouldn't you still get kind of a feeling of these guys did horrible things, and it, being a psychic, I'm sure. How do we know you're not picking up on something they did in the past rather than what the murders of the 2 little girls?
Because I go by feeling and gut instinct.
Right.
One might, I mean, all these gentlemen, like you, all these men, the pictures that you showed me, okay, might have done something in the past, and I'll pick up a signal. I'll pick up a feeling, like almost as being a sensitive. Okay, and yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, everybody has skeletons in their closet.
Sure.
I don't care who it is. You know, we've all done something kind of evil in our.
Oh
okay?
yeah.
But what throws when I looked at all of these pictures, it was like what they do in the jail when they have a lineup and they have you behind a dark window and they tell you to pick out the suspect.
Right.
That's basically what I do. And I put all the pictures together, and the one that stands out the most to me and starts to make me feel sick and nauseated and dizzy, that's the one that just comes on too strong to me.
Yeah.
But I have to put the connection with the girls.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, you know, that I'm not just like saying, oh, well, I have a strong connection with this man because he robbed a bank. That has nothing to do with it. It's like whenever they do something like a murder, to me, it's like they leave a residual energy around them. Okay, and I'm talking that from the person or persons that were murdered. That actual residue just kind of clings to them. Okay?
Yeah.
And which, when I go to read it and I go to pick it up, I feel like a sensation of just wanting to break down and cry. I feel pain. I feel like I'm being tortured.
Wow.
So and when that picture, when you sent me that other one, I just went boom, and it just like slapped me in the face.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I like him for the murders.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I like him for the murders. That's just a cop term. I like, they say I like him for that murder. He looks like him. He's got the MO as far as, like I said, the pedophile thing going on. And what did you think about the pictures of the jeans that I sent you?
Oh, I seen that because you were showing them online, and I looked at them and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, they're like 501s, like button up in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the comparison on those, I was overwhelmed by that. And I was just like, yeah, that's and I know everybody's proven innocent till proven guilty.
Right.
That's a dead match.
Yeah. Let me interrupt you for just a minute. To Pam Nasby Williams, she's saying Charles Eldridge is deceased. That's not correct. Paul Edders is deceased. He was the one that committed suicide when the cops had him surrounded. No, Mr. Eldridge is sitting in a prison right now, waiting his turn.
Yeah. For another crime that he had committed, right? So
Right.
in other words, they're not pinning him to these murders.
Right. Yeah.
However,
the guy's an idiot. I mean,
Right.
he got busted in a sting operation, which probably, he probably would have got a few years, but he went ahead and admitted, said, well, yeah, I did have sex with a 12-year-old a few years ago,
Prison is not going to be kind to
Yeah,
him.
prison's not going to be good for this man.
Good. He deserves it.
Absolutely.
No, it's not.
And Kathy, let me
No,
ask you
it's not.
something. What is your take on, okay, I'm getting all sorts of slack from the Delphi guys on YouTube saying, you shouldn't be putting these side-to-side pictures up like that. But I'm like I said previously, man, if you hurt a little girl or you murder someone, you're game for anything, buddy. And that's the way
right.
that's the way I feel about it. I mean, it would be different if I was
You
just
left
taking
yourself wide open for the kill.
Absolutely.
That's how I see it.
If it was Joe, if it was just like Joe Blow down the street or something, no, I would never do that.
That'd be
But a
horrible.
convicted, a guy who's convicted, and also the police have these guys.
But here's the thing. This is still an open case.
Absolutely.
They want people to solve it. They
Right.
want people to come forward with information. So what's the harm in discussing it and talking about it and trying to come
Absolutely.
up with evidence or whatever? I don't have a problem with it, especially with me being the abilities that I have.
Yeah.
I mean, when you threw this case at me, I was like, oh man, I'm going to get into this.
Well, what else did
and
you
I don't
feel?
care.
What else did you feel about the case? If you don't mind me asking.
It allowed me to go as far as the bridge. It allowed me to see some of it unfold. Like I said, I think I discussed this with you before, that I seen him go after the bigger girl first because he felt a fight with her.
Yeah, let me say something.
And I don't know.
That's very good, Kathy, and let me tell you, because there's some stuff I know I'm not supposed to say. Liberty put up a hell of a fight. That's what I was told. That she was the fighter amongst them. And so when you said that
Yes.
that resonated with me. It's like, okay, that's what I heard, that she was the one that really put up a hell of a fight with this guy. And Abby was such a little thin little thing,
Yeah.
she probably couldn't, bless her heart, That's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You said that you also kind of tuned into the girls and you were letting them kind of show you what happened. Now, you said something that was
Trying to see.
right, and you said something that was pretty cool. She told me, Garrett, that what she saw is this guy hit them on the head to knock them out.
Okay.
Right? And hit one of the girls so hard when she fell, her tennis shoe went over the bridge, and they actually found Abby's red tennis shoe under the bridge.
Wow.
And so, Kathy, you swear to God, you did not look that up, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you had no knowledge of that at all.
No, I didn't. I didn't even. Because here's the first thing I do.
'Cause it is-
I'm like Amy Allen on Dead Files.
Yeah.
I do not read anything to make my findings go astray.
Okay.
Okay. I
Right.
don't want to see evidence. I don't want to read stories because I want my own. I want to draw my own picture and my own conclusion.
Right.
Right.
Okay, and I don't want anything influencing my findings.
Right, but I have to ask that because I mean, there's people out there that think psychics are phony balonies, and you know that, and so I have to ask that. I had to ask that, but
Oh, exactly.
yeah, but that was something that
Exactly.
that was a holy cow moment for me when you told me that. It was like, holy crap, they found Abby's shoe under the bridge,
Right.
and you saw that fly up in the air.
I actually seen it flying off her foot. Yeah, I seen it. I mean, I was like, wow, I just seen her go flying back. She almost went over the edge. And he grabbed her by the ankle and yanked her back up on the bridge. And then the shoe went flying and it went over the edge. And I seen the shoe. I just seen the shoe go flying. But then when you told me then you told me that they found her one shoe at the water's edge down below. I was like, I know, I seen the shoe flying off.
Yeah.
I didn't know where it landed, but you said the water's edge.
Right. That's exactly.
So,
it was under.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I mean, it's not cool that it happened, but it's cool that it gave me that sign and showed me to look at it.
Right.
And you said the girls. Now, do you feel like he killed them before he got down the hill, or did he kill? I mean, did he kill them and drag them down the hill and then drag them over? Because basically the bodies were found across Deer Creek, about 50 feet. That's quite a ways to drag two little girls by yourself. But do you feel like he marched them over? I mean, what do you think happened?
Look at the size of him.
Yeah, I know he's a big guy.
Look at the size of him.
I know.
Yeah. No, he took care of the business right on the bridge. He took care of the business right there, and then he just dragged each one of them off one at a time.
And that makes sense.
So that's what I seen, was bodies being carried off one at a time.
That makes sense, because the thing I couldn't figure out, I thought, okay, he's in a park, and there's people in this park, and no one heard these girls scream. So like you said, he probably hit him quickly over the head, knocked him unconscious. There wasn't time to scream.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Didn't have time to react at all.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead. Ask the questions. I'll answer them best.
How much did the girls show you before they cut you off?
To the end of the bridge.
Okay.
But then I went through and tried to focus on the area, the trees, the grass, the leaves. I did see a fence, and I seen kind of like a little bit of a muddy marsh there. I mean, not too much. Maybe like if it just rained and there was like some puddles of water and kind of made a little bit of mud.
Uh-huh.
I seen that area, but it was like close to a fence, and what I was being shown, I assume, was where the bodies were found.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the area I was shown. But it was right next to like a fence area, and what it was showing me was like property, somebody's property.
Yeah, Ron Logan's.
And that's about as...
Yeah, the property...
Is that the guy's name?
Yeah, the property belonged to Ron Logan. Yeah, that's his property. In fact, they searched his house, went through, looked for, trying to convict him. Now, this guy's 75 years old, and I don't think he would have had the stamina
to it whatsoever.
Yeah, the talk about bad luck, Garrett. This guy was on parole, right? He's not supposed to be drinking, and the police were asking him, "Where were you on this date?" And he said, "Well, I was out buying fish." Now, he was lying because he didn't want to break his parole, right?
Right.
He wasn't lying because he killed the kids.
Right.
And he shows up in this video with a blue jacket like the bridge guy.
Oh, God.
He's got the hat on, and, people are really looking hard at this guy. But basically what they found out is, he did lie about going and buying a tropical fish. He was out drinking, and that would have broke his parole, which would put him back in prison. Now, he did get in serious trouble.
Right.
They did go ahead and pull him back in. I think he went to prison for a few months.
Oh, man.
For that. But, Ron was too old to have committed anything like that. It just definitely wasn't him. But, so...
He's not involved, no.
Did you get... So the girls were. He would have had to drag them down the hill. I don't know how far it is to that creek, but he'd have to, which would be really hard, dragging two girls through water because it was about waist deep at the time of the murders.
Right.
But he could have left one and took one at a time too. Who knows?
Again, he's spending a lot of time doing all this.
It was one at a time.
It was one at a time. Okay.
Yeah, and
it was.
Yeah, and they found like, God, I gotta be careful what I say, but they did find panties and some stuff in the river that was left there from Liberty. Liberty, should I say what's speculated, Kathy?
What's that?
I said, I don't have any proof of this, but it's from a text message, possibly from the uncle of Liberty German. And
Oh, really?
yeah, so he says, I'll go ahead and say this. You guys take this for, I mean, these were text messages that were ended up on the internet. No one can validate them, so I'm just saying, I'm just going to throw it out there. You take it for what you want. He said Liberty's head was almost severed. He said she was completely nude, covered in leaves, no sexual assault. But she took the brunt of the attack, is what he said. So we know if this is true, there was a knife involved. Where he said she was almost beheaded.
Right.
Libby.
Jesus.
Libby was laying. He posed the bodies. He put Libby right next to Abby, and took her hands, folded them over her chest. Like someone in a casket back in the day. Now they put them by your side or down on the stomach. Which I think those are the signatures possibly that the FBI were looking at for other serial killers.
Give me a pen.
So,
Yeah.
But did the girls show you any of how they were found or anything? I'm just wondering if that could be, if what I'm saying.
No,
okay.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Now you said that
between trucking school and the thing I did tonight, I'm trying to fit it all in, but I want to work on it slowly.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get too many mixed signals on it, and then I start getting confused, or it starts walking me astray.
Right.
So I'm trying to stay focused on it, and when I know that I can actually sit down and spend some time and work on it, but like I was telling you before, I said if I was there on the actual location, I'd have had it. I would have had it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with me being in Arizona and then having the focus way back in Delphi or wherever it took place, I mean, that's a distance. So
yeah,
it has to come to me in waves. And yeah,
so
if I was there, I'd have had it.
Right.
So,
well,
on the location.
Well, and again, since you're a trucker, once you start trucking around, maybe you can get a load that goes through Indiana or through Delphi. And
yes. I am. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to put.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, we'll
definitely
have to get you live. I'll do a live stream from the park.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's interesting.
That sounds like a blast. Yes, I would love that.
Yeah, we should do that.
And then I can, as I'm walking through. But didn't you say that they went through and they chain linked it off, or they won't let anybody up there, or is that just the bridge?
No, I'm glad you brought that up because there's something I want to bring up. They're renovating the bridge. They're trying to make it safe. Like I said earlier, I don't know if you're listening. The bridge is about almost 80 feet high. It has no side rails. It was built in the 1800s. The wood is rotting. There's railroad slats missing, so you have to kind of hop over or you'll fall to your death. Totally dangerous place. Now, was saying that.
Oh yeah.
Was saying that. They are spending $1.2 million on redoing this bridge. And I kept thinking to myself, why don't you make that the reward money and we'll find this guy? If you can get the reward money up to about $1 million, somebody will talk.
Yeah, because
if somebody's trying to protect somebody and they know they can be an instant millionaire by turning this guy in, they would do it. So to me, it's almost, and I don't know if I should say this, but it's almost like a slap in the face to the family. Okay, you're spending $1 million to redo this bridge. What about spending that on finding the killer of my daughter?
Right, because I think it was up when I saw it last, like 240.
It's at 240,000. It's been that for 3 years now. It hasn't went up.
230,000.
Yeah, 230,000. When Kathy breaks the case, then she'll be collecting that, buying her stuff.
That's actually a good point, though, Keith.
But yeah. I mean, to me, it's like if I was a parent and I heard that we're going to spend $1 million, 1.2 million, I would be thinking, wow, what's my daughter's life worth to find who did this and to get this person off the streets if they're not off the street? I mean, more than likely they're sitting in prison, if it's Charles Eldridge. But that's just kind of.
I don't know. If I had it my way, I'd want the bridge destroyed after that's where my, that's where my daughter last was alive. I wouldn't want it there. It's just a bad memory,
Yeah.
So.
And as far as the renovation, I don't know, like if you I don't know if I don't think the bridge is finished. I don't know how far they've got on it. I do know you can get to the area where the girls' bodies were found by going through the cemetery, but you'd be needing to talk to Ron Logan because that's his property. So you'd be trespassing. And I do know Ron has deer cameras all over that place. So so you may have to talk to him. And he may be fine with it. I don't know,
Yeah.
But,
one other thing, I don't know if I text you this, but one other thing that I did pick up is this guy was local. This guy evidently had at one time lived there in Delphi.
Yeah.
I'm seeing what I picked up with a high school. I picked up a high school, but it's like after high school, he just like moved out of town.
Right.
But he still knows people in town.
Yeah.
And it's like he comes and visits, but he lives out of town. And I've been trying to pick up the location of where he might be now, and that's not coming in at all. So that's another thing I'm working on. So I really want to solve this. I really do. And I mean, it's not for the reward. My God knows that anybody could use that.
Yeah.
But I want to do it. I want to do it in honor of them, in honor of the girls.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, I'm sure everybody wants this solved, and everybody, especially the people in Delphi are getting frustrated with the amount of time it's taking because, a lot of people are saying, look, you guys got video of this guy. You got his voice. You probably know more than what you're telling. And this needs to be taken care of. Especially if this guy, let's just say for a minute that it's not Charles Eldridge and this guy's walking around. I mean, my God, you got little kids need to be watching.
Yeah, who's going to be his next victim?
Right. And I think also maybe if he is walking around still, I'm pretty sure that video and that voice thing probably slowed him down quite a bit, or he would have killed again by now.
He's probably changed his identity, dyed his hair, did something, whatever. Went in for plastic surgery. Yeah, changed his whole outlook.
Yeah, and that's one thing the police were asking people is if you know somebody who's all of a sudden changed their looks, and like I said, I was telling, me and Garrett was talking about this earlier, I think someone knows who this is, and they just are either afraid to turn him in, or it's a father, it's a husband,
a brother,
a boyfriend, a brother, a grandpa, and they just can't do it.
Well, there's, and here's another thing that I also believe. Every one of us have an enemy or somebody that doesn't like us and just would love to get revenge on us. Well, who out there doesn't like him? Would call in and say, yeah, he's the one who did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, there's got to be somebody out there that doesn't even like the guy and would call in and just say, yeah, I know he did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not even happening.
No.
So, and I mean, from the picture that you showed me, and in what I sensed and picked up, he was not a likable guy. He's got a bad attitude, and nobody likes him. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't have very many friends.
Yeah.
However, he does have family, and of course, your family's not going to rat you off.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time, sociopath, narcissism, and assholes all run together. That even with Bundy was a very arrogant guy, kind of an asshole, very intelligent guy, but also a sociopath. So sociopaths, that's a common trait with sociopaths is narcissism, thinking that they're above everybody else and thinking, hey, I got away with this, and you're never going to catch me, and probably laughing. So yeah,
keep us in the loop.
Exactly.
With any kind of new things you pick up on, make sure you let Keith know.
Yeah, absolutely. Call in and let me know.
Oh God, if I get anything, Keith will be the first to know.
Awesome.
So yeah.
That's right, because me and her are going to split the money, Garrett. No, I'm just teasing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll just buy us a brand new studio, Garrett, and we'll have state of the art. Hey, we got new lights, by the way. I don't know if you guys can tell. Can't tell if the lighting's better or not. If you can,
I'd love to have a brand new Freightliner so I can continue with as an owner operator with my new paranormal group called Paranormal Truckers. So
Oh, cool. That's
I'm
a great
looking forward
idea.
to that.
Yeah, and we're waiting for
Yes.
that TV show, right? You need to pitch that.
Yes,
Paranormal
we
Truckers.
just did that tonight. Right after I got done, and I seen you guys were still online. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to call in." So while there's still
How
time,
cool.
so and I did. It is. This gentleman was very impressed. Evidently, he is a talent scout as well as a producer for the paranormal shows.
Oh,
And he had gone live. Well, not live. He basically did what they did, like a pre-investigation
uh-huh.
up at the locations that we send him to. And my manager was there, and we went via live with me on phone, and I took them to the areas that had like ghosts standing there. And I told them, I said, you need to go into the jail. And they went into the jail and they took their equipment in there. And I said, he's standing over in the left-hand corner, and everything just started lighting up.
Wow.
So I hit it dead on. I hit it dead ringer. And so the guy was super impressed. And he said, be looking for future productions. So I was just like,
Kathy with
yes.
the home run.
So hopefully
Yeah.
something will good come out of it.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's a great
But this
idea.
is-
I'm looking
this is
forward to
for
that.
thank you.
How cool. Well,
This
Kathy,
is for the which we all know this show. We all know Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters.
oh, yeah.
This is his new show,
How
Ghost
cool.
Nation.
Nice.
So this is the guy that's working with Jason to find haunted locations.
So what network is
So-
that? Can you say?
What's that?
What network is it? Can you say?
I really don't even know. I turned it all over to my manager. I just say, here, you deal with it.
Perfect.
Deal with it.
Smart.
Yeah, give me a
I got
job
too
and I'll
much on
show
my
up.
plate already.
Well, send them out this
Right.
way. We're
I mean,
sitting
it's hard.
in a haunted
It's hard
place.
having the abilities that I do because sometimes I just can't shut my mind off and I can't focus. I think that's why I'm having such a hard time in trucking school.
For sure. For sure.
Oh, God, Kathy, I'm so
Because all the
ADHD.
students have got stuff around them, they all carry luggage. So it's just like, it's really hard to focus. But I'm getting through it. I'm supposed to graduate next week. So,
Hey,
but
congratulations.
yeah, I'm
That's
really
awesome.
excited about this. So it was very successful. And like I said, when I got done hanging up with that phone call, I had to call you guys and talk about the Delphi.
Thank you so much.
So, and here I am. So, yeah.
Appreciate it. Awesome.
No
All right.
problem.
Well,
Didn't want to miss you guys.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add before I let you go?
Hopefully we'll get this. So, I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, I will continue to work on it as long as I can.
Okay.
I don't want to waste too much time, because, but I will see what I can do. And like I said, anything I can come up with or I channel in on, I will definitely email you or send you a text and let you know.
Awesome.
But let's hope that we can allow Abby and Libby lives to live on in our hearts and our minds, and that we can seek justice for the both of them and put this to rest once and for all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and these poor, I just can't imagine the pain the parents are going through. I mean, it's one thing if your kid's killed like in a car accident, which is horrible enough, but when someone caused your child's death, that's just a whole different level. And
I can't. I just can't even see how people out there can put that into their mind to do something like that.
yeah,
I just can't. It's just like, why would you want to do something like that?
Right. Yeah. Let's solve this for Abby and Libby and get some justice for these parents.
I agree.
All right, Kathy.
So,
you have a
But
great night.
thank you for bringing me in on it.
Oh, no problem.
Of course.
So
No problem.
I'm really.
Oh, I think we lost
Oh,
her.
I think we
So
lost.
Oh, there she is.
Okay. Yeah, you cut out for a minute. So
I'm still here. I'm hanging around.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just-
watching you guys on my big screen.
it's just cell phone reception. You cut out for a
Yes,
minute.
I know. What can I say? I got cricket, so it's kind of sometimes, and not to mention I'm practically living off the grid. So
Right.
I'm out in the middle of the desert. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I get terrible reception sometimes.
Well, Kathy, have a great night, and we will talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
It's
bye-bye.
great talking to you,
You
again.
too.
You
Great
guys
talking
are
to
so
you.
much fun.
Thank
I
you.
love
So are you. So are you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Hey,
Good night.
Hey, Kathy.
What?
I was going to say you can promote me and Garrett's show if you like to. We can do a parent.
Yeah, we'll text you later about that.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Yes. Hit me up with it. Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Hit me
I
up.
will.
I definitely will do so.
All right.
You guys deserve it. You're the best.
Thank you. All right, take care. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. You too, guys.
All right,
Good night.
bye-bye.
Night.
Well, that's interesting. You know, like I said, the one thing that caught my attention when I first was talking back and forth with her a couple of weeks ago was when she mentioned the red shoe.
Right. Yeah, I
flipping
remember
off.
you.
And
Yeah.
it almost makes sense because
Well, I believe Kathy too.
I do.
She's awesome.
Yeah, but I had to ask that question
Well, of course.
because
yeah, of course.
like today I heard somebody well known on YouTube going, well, psychics are just idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. They hurt the family, because they'll say, well, I see someone's body here,
Then why does
and
the
they don't
FBI
find, and it's
why do these investigation agencies call on them at times?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I
'Cause
mean,
they-
I'm
they've been helpful.
and I'm sure there's bad I'm sure there's psychics out there that are phony, baloney,
Right.
but there's a lot of real ones. And I think, like you said, the police use them all the time.
Yeah.
For cases.
Joe Kinda's used them,
Yep. Yeah. And Joe's very skeptical.
and he's the man.
I love Joe Kinda. You remember that cutout I had of him?
Yeah. I used to
I
scare
used
the
to
shit
have
out
a
of me.
cutout of Joe Kinda, and I used to put it in the front door in the screen. It looked like Kinda's garden in my house.
Yeah. Hey, I was
loved it.
going to bring up one thing about this that I didn't know, and you mentioned is you said that something about the head was almost severed.
Yeah.
It was interesting because again, I go back to this FBI profiler I was listening to, and it was like a panel of people. There was like a defense attorney, there was like crime investigator, like journalist, and then this FBI profiler on this panel talking about Delphi. And one thing the FBI profiler said is, they're talking about facial recognition.
You're talking about John Kelly, aren't you?
Oh no, I'm not.
Oh, really? Okay, no.
No, but he has.
He's
spoken,
a profiler. He has a
spoken
whole. Yeah, he has a
He's
whole.
spoken on it. Yeah.
I thought about
this is a female,
and I may try getting John on the show. 'Cause
That'd be
I
amazing.
think he would do it. I've talked to him before.
Cool.
So I may try
Well,
getting him.
she brought
on
up
the
this
show.
interesting point though, and she just kind of said it like in passing. It wasn't like something she was focused on, but she was like, you think that somebody would remember walking by this guy in the park and like if he was like carrying something like a machete or something,
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't stand out to me then. But
Yeah.
then whenever you mentioned the head being like, why would she bring up the machete? Like, why would it? Because it struck me as funny. I was like, why would somebody be walking through the forest and cut down trees, I guess, or something?
Right.
But they did do this. They were talking about the composite sketches, how they came out with the new one.
Yeah, and that's what I'm glad you said that because I was just bringing that up. We haven't even talked about the sketch that looks nothing like. Let me show you guys real quick here. Let me switch over. I'm starting to learn this. Let me see. Okay, so we've got, this was the new sketch that the police released just a couple of years ago. And I'm still, let's see, trying to get it where it'll blow up on the screen here. Give me a minute. Be patient. I'm new at this. That still did not help at all. Let me go back. Let me see if I can get one to blow up. It's funny because it keeps taking me to web. Okay, that's pretty decent. Let me see what it looks like through the OBS. Yeah, you guys can't see it. Hang on. Let me see if I can bring it down a little bit. Maybe that. That's what's funny. Every time you click, the OBS goes off and I can't see it. Okay, so here's the sketch they put up, you guys, of the new sketch. Now, this looks nothing
Right.
like the guy we just saw on the bridge. This guy looks like he's in his 20s, maybe early 30s. Bridge guy looks in his 50s to me.
Right.
Which made me almost think, were there two people involved?
Right.
Now, this supposedly is an eyewitness sketch of someone they saw on the trail leaving around the time the girls after they were murdered.
Right.
An eyewitness sketch. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, Garrett. To me, and it caused so much confusion with everybody because they kind of tapped danced around when people were asking, well, which one are we supposed to look at?
Right.
They never really definitively answered, oh, well, it's both of them.
Right.
Or,
For sure.
Or, whatever. So I don't know.
The thing I was watching was like they did like a little example where at the beginning of the broadcast, they just did a quick shot of somebody walking down the hall as if they were walking past you.
Yeah.
And then they went back later and was like, okay, was the guy wearing a black shirt, a gray shirt, or this shirt? Was the guy wearing glasses?
Yeah.
And it was actually hard to tell. I was like, oh, shit, what was he wearing? So they're making the point that when you pass somebody, just generally,
right,
you don't tend to like remember that. I mean, there's going to be like snippets in your brain that you can recall.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to like nail it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that you must have been. I listened to about every documentary I could find in the last few weeks.
Did
I
you
knew.
see that?
Yeah, I knew about the case, but that one I talked to, they said, "Are you talking about the one where they go, now we just showed our cameraman. That was our cameraman Bob. Now tell us what he was wearing."
Yeah,
and he's exactly right. They say eyewitnesses' testimony are horrible.
Right.
For the most part, they don't get it right.
And just think about it. You're walking into the park that day and somebody's leaving. That's not something that's like standing out.
You're not going to pay any attention to him.
Right. Yeah.
And I would think too, and another guy on YouTube did this experiment. They said, well, the guy's pants would have been wet. Someone should have noticed that. So a guy got in his jeans. He walked through the water and he walked out to the trail. And you really couldn't tell. They're just like their dark jeans. You couldn't tell they were wet.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and you are out on a trail.
Yeah.
By a body of water.
Yeah. This guy had to have been in pretty good shape because if you guys look around, there's a lot of good videos about the escape route they think he took. He had to go up this very steep hill and then go through this treacherous area,
right.
And then because they think there's two ways. Some people think he parked his car at the cemetery, he went up this hill and then went through all this brush and everything, got to his car and drove away. Some people think he cut sideways, got back on the trail that leads out of the park,
regardless,
and walked down the highway, I guess, because there was some talk about a car being parked at one of these older buildings that was on the highway because they were asking questions. Does anybody know who owned this car that was parked there?
Right.
But again, I think if that would have happened, someone would have noticed some guy walking down the highway
for sure.
I don't think he had time to change clothes. And another thing that I wondered, and I think this would have caught the guy. But because of probably manpower, they couldn't do this. But at some point, that guy had to get gas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you check every surveillance camera to every gas station in a 100-mile circumference,
and
I bet you would have found him somewhere.
Yeah, there's a show on ID channel called See No Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, that's what it's about, where they take a crime scene where they don't have anything and they end up building a timeline.
Yeah.
So that's super important. And then starting to build the case through surveillance cameras and stuff. I think the thing with Delphi is it's obviously pretty rural, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
very
so
much.
that there's probably like a million different places you could have went.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not really. I mean, actually, there's the highway, and I think that's it. Of course, man, I'm again, there's other people who know this case inside and out.
Right.
And I'm not one of them.
It's complicated, though.
It is a complicated case, but I just think, okay, so then we have to think, did the guy change his clothes at the scene? Because he had to be, if he used a knife, he had to have been covered in blood.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
His jacket, everything. So what I kind of wondered, too, is, that coat looked like it was bulky, right?
Right.
So did he?
I didn't even.
Could he have had
a
few trash bags in there too?
Right. Yeah.
And
but then he's
after the crime scene, then he's
lugging around trash bags.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point.
But I do find it suspicious that he just happened to be in the same place at the same time with those two girls.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the Charles Eldridge guy. I don't want to offend anybody. But
no, you're absolutely. I mean, it could be.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
yeah, it could be.
And this guy's MO is to act like a 12-year-old and meet people, and they're 13 and 14 years old.
Right, but I guess the only thing that wasn't Charles Eldridge's MO was murder.
How do we know?
He well, I mean, that's true. I mean, he did admit to sexually assaulting a 12-year-old. He could, who knows how many murders he may have committed.
Yeah, because can I tell you something about liars?
Yeah.
Or just about people in general, is what I've noticed, especially because I work with high school kids a lot, right? College kids. And
sociopaths.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, your daughter thinks I'm a sociopath. She tells me all the time, "You're such a sociopath. You're a socio." Me and Kyle. She thinks me and Larry. She thinks me and Larry are sociopaths. Do you think we are?
No.
Okay,
I think you have empathy for people. If you have empathy for people, then you're not a I mean, if you legitimately feel sorry for someone.
Cass.
But how do I know you're not lying right now?
True.
I don't know that.
I know.
You could be lying to me and you absolutely have no 100%. Feelings. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe you are a sociopath.
Man, I completely forgot what I was going to say now.
Oh, you were talking.
Something really interesting. But it was about Charles Eldridge. Oh, here's the thing about liars. Okay,
liars
is that
high school kids
and call anybody if they've done something. Okay, say they're doing some hard drugs or something. Right. Okay, they might come up to you and be like, "Yeah, I smoked a little weed. I smoked weed." Right, and they're going to tell you that because I'm going to be like, "Okay, well, he told me he smoked weed. That means he's willing to tell me anything." So he definitely wouldn't be doing those bad drugs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if Charles Eldridge is the guy and he's like, because you said earlier, like, and then this dumbass admits to this. But do you think that possibly he's admitting to that, hoping that they'd be like, shit, if he admitted
there's
to
a
that,
totally different sentence for sexually molesting a girl and murdering one. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he kills somebody in the past, he's not going to say, hey, and another thing, guys, all you guys out there, also look up the Evansdale murder. 2 young girls killed in a park in broad daylight.
Yeah. That's Iowa? Is that what you said?
In Iowa. Yeah. Evansdale. If you just look up the Evansdale murder, it's same MO. 2 young girls, both killed in a park. Predator waiting.
How long ago was that? Do you think? Do you know?
God. Someone would have to. Regina, look that up, will you?
Well, no,
Evansdale murders. When were they committed?
And it's unsolved.
I want to say, it's unsolved. It happened, I want to say before the Delphi killings, but I can't be for sure. Also, if you guys want to call 205-730-6441, and if you notice, I finally put that graphic on the screen. It's like around here somewhere. Go ahead and call. Let's see what you guys think.
It's a fascinating case.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be anybody because it could have been a truck driver going through there.
Right.
Just like the happy face killer.
I know, but to know those trails and to have an exit route and to have it planned, it seems like that was like state. Like,
yeah.
Because I'm just putting myself in the shoes of like a truck driver just happening like to go through Delphi. And I want to go kill somebody.
Have you heard thank you, Regina, July 13th, 2012.
Oh, jeez.
Now, isn't that odd? February 13th, 2017.
Cold.
July,
hey, do you think about this?
July 13th, 2012, so the same date of the month.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the one was in July?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because to me, I thought you were saying they were both in February, at which point I was going to say, do you think...
it's far-fetched out there that I'm making a connection, but July, I mean, it's just weird. July the 13th and then February the 13th, the same day of the month.
Well, I was going to say...
But the similarities of the crimes are pretty close.
Well, and I was going to say, if they were both in February, I would find it interesting that you would think a lot of people probably wouldn't be out in that area in February in Indiana.
Right.
It's freezing. It was so cold that they called off the search. So why are these 3 people in the same place at the same time?
Okay. Well, they said that day was unusually warm for Indiana.
Oh, okay.
And the girls were out. They were doing a makeup snow day.
Right.
You have a bunch of extra days, so they're going to give you Monday off. So they gave the girls Monday. They gave not the girls, but everybody in that school. And they said it was an unusually warm day because Liberty's sister said, "Hey, you guys grab a jacket."
Right.
And Liberty didn't grab a jacket.
Right.
So, it was unusually warm. So,
but my point being,
but it was a pretty day. They said for Iowa, and I looked at the high. I went and
Indiana.
looked Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Indiana, I went back and looked at that date and saw the temperature, and they said it was a beautiful day. Well, the high was 45,
Yeah.
which is
It
pretty
gets freezing
pretty
out
cold.
there, yeah.
Pretty cold.
Yeah. Well, so that was my point, though. It seems like if somebody did want to set up two girls to get murdered, or and he probably was thinking it was only going to be one girl, hence why he may have murdered her. Honestly.
Yeah, they
You
think that they came across him earlier in the trail. There's actually
Okay.
a bench there, and
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
they
yeah.
think maybe he was sitting there. The girls walked by. He got up, started to follow him, and like I said, there. And I know I keep saying it's Gray Hughes. He's got some just incredible maps that he's put together,
Right.
and where you get to see, where
Yeah.
the areas are walking. And he had someone who walked through the trails, and a couple other people did the same thing.
Wow.
But it's totally interesting. Anyway, give us a call, 205-730-6441, and let me know what you think. And you can talk about the suspects. If you got any questions, we'll try to answer them
Man,
with our limited knowledge. But it's just
it's been a great conversation.
it has been. It's an interesting case, and it's just a horrible case. Just so sad.
Well, I think stuff like this is important though, because you got to keep it alive. That's what the
Because
families are afraid of.
Right. And they want it. You can go to abbyandlibby.org and you can print flyers off of there.
Yeah. This thing will this case will not go cold.
I hope not.
It's gone.
It kind of feels cold now.
It does, but it's gonna. I mean, there's so many people following this thing and trying to keep it going.
Yeah, it's just I just can't imagine. But we'll talk for about 5 more minutes and gives I know there's some shy people out there. We got some good people on
No, we really do.
our little group here.
Well, I like the whole true crime thing a little bit.
Yeah, I do. If you guys like the true crime thing, put some thumbs up down there.
Hey, and we definitely
and we'll do
need
some more.
Yeah, we definitely need to touch on that Long Island. What is they calling him? The Long Island Strangler.
Yeah, the guy who's connected with the New Jersey killings.
Right. And that one's weird, man. Because
That's odd because
they
he had
also
the
have-
girl. They found one body, then they started finding more and more bodies, and they said they don't know if there's a connection, but they were all pointing west.
Yeah.
And
they were post.
they were post.
And also, they have also voice recording, not of the killer, but of one of the victims that actually started this entire investigation.
Uh-huh.
And it's coming from this little part of Long Island where it's like a closed community, and it's like one block, and everybody kind of knows each other. And this girl calls the cops. I think she's on the phone with them for 21 minutes. And she's running and saying, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. Freaking out. And then, the cops, whatever, they go check it out. Like this kind of thing, maybe. She drives out to her driver because she was an escort, right? She runs out to her driver or the guy does. He's like, dude, get this girl out of my house. She runs past him. She goes to another house, knocking on the door. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. And the guy is like, do you need something? You need something? And then calls the cops. She bounces. They never see her again until they find her body facing west.
Wow.
Okay, so they have all these people that were in contact with her. The driver, the person that ordered the escort, the neighbor who, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then, 3 days later, the mom receives a phone call from a doctor, and it happens to be the house that she went to. And says, I run this home for people that need help, and your daughter was here, and I just want you to know she's safe. And but she's gone away again. I just want to know when she came here, she was safe, blah, blah, blah. Well, they ended up finding her body like 100 yards behind his property.
Oh,
In the swamp.
whoa.
In the swamp. Facing west. Still, like everybody else. But they've
Okay.
never been able to connect him to everything else. And everybody in the neighborhood's up in arms, like, oh, he's a doctor. He does things for the community.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, man. I mean, you
can actually look.
you've got preachers, you got people that
I
are
know.
cops,
Yes.
politicians.
I mean, think about the people we've talked about tonight.
Yeah. I mean,
Because even Charles Eldridge was a security guard.
yeah, and what's his name? Thomas Bruce was a pastor,
Right. Yeah.
And killed
They're
people in a
psychopaths.
Catholic supply store.
They're psychopaths.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. All right, come on, 205-730-6441. Give us a
1
call.
minute.
205-730-6441. Don't be shy. We don't bite. very hard.
Good one, Keith.
That was good, wasn't it?
That got him. That made him laugh.
That got him right there, I tell you. But anyway, Kathy, good night to you. She says she's tired and been
Get
busy.
some rest.
Yeah, absolutely. She's in truck driving school, man. I can't imagine. But anyway, well, I don't think anybody's going to call Garrett.
That's fine.
And that's fine.
Great show, man.
We love you guys, and really, like I've said before, we really appreciate you guys coming and chatting with us and watching the show. And
we're gonna keep them coming like hotcakes.
yeah, it'll it'll take a little while, but this show will catch on, and it'll get around. I mean, we've already, I think I told you guys we're on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Amazon. I think there's one other. And the first week we had 50 downloads.
That's awesome.
So that's not a bad start.
Let's keep it going.
And Delphi is definitely a hot topic. I mean, there's so many channels out there that's just dedicated.
Right.
I mean, there's this one guys, and they're just like 18 years old, and they're just using their phone, right?
Right.
And they're one guy's behind them, and there's another guy next to him, and the kids are running around, and the wife's talking to him at the same time, and it's cool, man. And these guys have got like 2,000 views,
Are they like pretty consistent, like coming out with shows?
They are. They said they were going to, yeah. And
so what new stuff were they even possibly talking about?
Well, it wasn't. It was just, it was pretty cool, man. They were just kind of having a round table discussion, kind of like what we're doing.
Right.
And having, if anybody was in a chat room to say something, and they would, try their best to answer. I got on there one time, helped them out a little bit because they had no clue.
Right.
About the crime.
Yeah.
And so with my limited knowledge,
right.
I know Gray has helped them as well. But yeah, their first couple of shows, they had maybe 3 people in the chat room. I was one of them, and they're asking questions, and I've typed in answers for them. But it's really cool. These guys, they
keeping
just,
it alive.
They just threw it together, man, and actually got a more successful channel than we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But good for them, man. Good for them. But I do. The last week, I think they said there's the last one they were doing on Delphi, and they were going to do some other stuff. And there's a lot of people that are kind of shutting down Delphi just a little bit because there's nothing. I mean, what can you talk about for 3 hours every week?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Michael Katz's another one. He's a cool dude, and he last week said the same thing. Because we're sitting here, we're just going in circles on the same thing. There's nothing new. So let's move on to something different. And a lot of channels are doing that. So they're going on to different true crime things, which we're going to throw in the mix. We're going to do a big one on Charles Manson and the helter-skelter theory. I know everybody will like that one. Everybody's interested in the Manson murders. And so I'm going to probably get a lot. That case I know really well.
I'm excited.
And I'm going to get... I've got all sorts of pictures. I got the crime scene photos. Of course, I will not share those. If you want to look, just for the decency of the victim's family.
Right.
I'm not going to show those. They're out there if you want to see them. They're gruesome and they're horrible. But I'm going to bring slides of pictures of Spawn Ranch.
Cool.
The Tate House.
Cool.
Show that and show the Cielo Drive and the area where they had to walk up this hill to commit these murders. And then we're going to talk about a lot of the there's a whole lot of theories that people don't think Manson should have been in prison because let me say this, Manson's a creep, but he didn't kill anybody.
Right.
It's the same.
That's what we'll discuss.
Right. We'll discuss that because it's like, he says, hey man, if I tell you to jump off a cliff.
Right.
And you jump off a cliff, that's on you.
Right.
It's not me.
Yeah.
So why should I get in trouble?
Right.
Just because I told you to do something doesn't mean you need to go do something. But there's also a big school of thought that he never told them to kill anybody. That basically it was Tex Watson trying to raise money to pay off
drug debt.
Yeah, a drug debt because they were afraid. Well, they just killed, they thought they killed this guy.
Don't spill the beans.
Okay,
Dude, because the Manson
I know.
Wait,
It's
I'm
just
wait. I'm trying to think of a nickname for you, like Master of the Manson Murders.
I am not.
Triple M,
dude.
Triple M. That's your new nickname.
I did a college paper on it. I did a paper in high school on it. I read the book when I was 10 years old. I know a lot about it, but at the same time, man, there's people out there that could, know so much more about it than
Picking
me.
it apart.
Like those guys can name dates. They can name what happened to here. Anybody connected with the Manson family. I can tell you the basic story. I can tell you what I believe.
You can tell,
but
a
I
lot
can
more
tell
than
you
that.
the conspiracy stories as well.
I know,
and there's
That's
a lot of them out there. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot of Manson lovers out there,
I
man.
know, man.
That thinks, hey, Charlie,
He got tons of fan mail.
Oh, he did. He got, all the time. Yeah, he even had a girl that was married him. And I'm not sure if the marriage actually went through, but we'll talk about that too. That was a whole crazy thing. All right, Garrett, what do you think, buddy?
I thought that was amazing.
All right, you guys, thank you for showing up tonight. It's 10:30 and time to go. Time for our bed. Anyway, Garrett's got to get. Can we have a meeting, or do you have to run home?
We got a meeting.
Garrett grabbed stuff, and he's out the door before I even get up out of my chair.
We're having a meeting.
But we're gonna have a meeting because we got to talk about next week's show, and we'll announce what that's going to be. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for showing up. Please share our videos. Get the word out there. Let's get a bunch of people involved in this thing. And let's do this. Let's make a huge community of people.
Single 7. Be sure to call us.
And we're going to say that every show is Single 7 205 730 6441. We want to know where you are at.
Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody. We will talk to you next week.